And this is a test recording of command, modern air and naval operations with Flashback Express. So for this test, I'm going to be playing tutorial scenario, submarine scenario 1.3. The focus here is introduction to diesel submarines and submarine launched missiles. Game time 6 hours, Mediterranean Sea with compression will be down to 20 minutes. Going to learn about diesel electric propulsion, snorkeling, loading specific weapons, submarine launched anti-ship and cruise missiles, and surface-to-air missiles. Not something you normally find on a submarine, and it's something you're going to have to fire from the surface since it's hard to do submerged. So let's go ahead and load the scenario. And basically, this seems to be a repeat of what we just talked about. Let's see if my mouse cooperates. Destroy merchant ship with missiles, land strike with cruise missiles, and even shoot down an aircraft with a submarine. Interesting. We'll have support of a maritime patrol craft. Let's see what we got here. Everything else is how to use the game. So let's see if we can find the OK button. Something like two big windows. There it is. Let's enter the scenario. Okay, I think I've clicked that. And we'll go ahead and say begin. So again, my windows are getting oversized. We'll try and fix that. If I can get better with the mouse. Before we get started, difference between diesel electric and a nuclear submarine. Not that I don't already know that. First and foremost, diesel electric submarines rely on their engines, which need fuel on or near the surface, and to recharge their batteries, which they use when under the water. Now, while they are silent, the batteries give them limited endurance before they have to come up and either normally snorkel. They don't come all the way up to the surface. They put their snorkel mast up, pulls in the air, exhausts the air from the diesel. They can run on the diesel and then recharge the battery. Nuclear submarine is different. It doesn't run on a fuel, or to be honest here, that's true. The food will run out for the crew before a nuclear reactor runs out of its fuel. Okay, but it's a bit more noisier because it has to run pumps and machinery to keep the reactor cool. And right now, our beginning of the game, this scenario, our submarine is submerged, almost out of battery power. You can see we have 500 units of battery. So the first thing we'll learn is coming up to PD, Periscope Depth, put up the snorkel mast, which probably happens automatically, kicks on the diesel, and it will start recharging our battery. So here we are. Here's our submarine. Raw Stuff on Dawn, it's called. I've downloaded the pictures from the website, so it does show me an example of what that submarine looks like. If I want more detailed info, I can come down here, click on this link, and that's my submarine here. Maybe not the specific one, but. And from this screen now, we got all sorts. This is one of the side advantages of command. It seems like its own resource for naval and air weaponry, kind of like a James on a computer game. So we can look at our boat here. We first talk about our sensors. Let's come back up here and see if we can get some idea of what it's capable of. Damage points used within the game, 28. We got some sizes, displacement, 52 crew members. Decision cycle is 15 seconds. Can be changed by the quality of my crew. OODA, observe. I think it's observe something, decide and act. Oh, observe, orient, decide and act. Documented cycle, fighter pilots use it. You see we're using it for submarines too. Depending on the quality of your crew, they can observe a situation, orient or understand it, make a decision on what to do, and act. And they're saying here this crew has a 15-second delay to do that. So if you've got a better crew out there who can get inside their decision cycle, they can do that faster, and that gives them an advantage. Max depths 240 meters. Not very deep, actually. Up here it needs, etc. Then we've got our sensors here. Radar surface search short range. Of course, that's like sending out a foghorn saying, "Here I am, shoot me." Probably not going to use that in wartime. More passive radar warning receiver. If I've got my ESM masked up or I'm potentially up on the surface, this will warn me that somebody else is scanning me. High frequency, directional frequency, it seems passive too. Detecting aircraft. Here's the big ones for potentially detecting surface ships and submerged contacts. Hull sonar, active passive, and then we've got our hull sonar, which is active only. Mine and obstacle avoidance. Probably not going to be using that one. And I doubt seriously we'll be using our active portion of our shark gill. Once again, it's like telling the world, here I am. Acoustic intercept, and of course, if you've got the periscope up or you're on the surface, the Mark I eyeball. Everybody's got it. Let's see what kind of weapons we have, what kind of armament. Looks like we have 2 torpedo tubes here and 4 here, 533 millimeters in diameter. Obviously, I can only load one thing in here. I think it's 5-second launch interval. And here it lists the weapons that can go in these different mounts. Looks like our standard torpedo. Well, these are specialized. I would think these are our standard ones. But all sorts of weapons here. Cool. Surface missile, SSN-27 Sizzler. Nice NATO code name there. Here's something for shooting at land targets. So this is surface cruise missile probably. 530 knots, 750 nautical miles. Pretty impressive. While the Sizzler is pretty much surface ships, 200 nautical miles still. Not bad, not bad. But at 530 knots, there's a good chance it can be swatted down by surface-to-air missiles potentially, or Gatling guns or close-in weapon systems. See, here is our standard, one of our standard torpedoes, 70 knots. It's pretty fast, 8 nautical miles. It's about 16,000 yards range. Come down here, we've got some other torpedoes. This is more standard, 40 knots, max range 4 nautical miles. Not quite as effective as the other one. We've got an SAN Gremlin, that's our surface-to-air missile. Shoot down helicopters and aircraft. 3 nautical mile range. I believe you have to shoot it from the surface, so it's almost playing Russian roulette with that aircraft. I gotta come up, it's pretty obvious where I am. Hopefully they can't put a weapon on me until they get within range of my surface-to-air missile and I can swat them down. We'll see. Magazines. Torpedo decoys, that's good to have. This is our magazines for torpedoes not in the tubes. After I use the ones already in the tubes, I still got 4 of these Test 71Ms and 8 of these Physic 1s. Got acoustic decoys, got comms, torpedo wire controlled torpedoes. That means I can do limited steering on the torpedoes after launch until I decide to cut the wire or it hits the target. Signatures I leave behind. Propulsion. We've got our electric motor, our diesel motor, pretty good. Performance of those. You can really get down in the weeds with this, pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and close that puppy. And we can probably click, and the cool thing is here, we can click on these individual weapons. And we get the same information, like the Gremlin surface-to-air missile gives us information about that. Let's pick something. The Sizzler surface anti-ship missile, I would imagine. Guided weapon. Notice it's cruising at 30 feet. It's pretty much a sea skimmer, 30 feet above ground level. Same as 9 meters. So it's trying to come in under the radar. But it can climb. Most of these weapons, when they are on their final approach, they'll pop up and come down. Some, though, will come in level all the way. Let's see, not getting anything else from this thing. And then, of course, I can go and click on all these others. Highlighted here, we hear them mention that they had a problem with our battery. You see here our battery is down to 500 fuel units. I guess that's just not necessarily applies to batteries. That's kind of a quantification of its endurance. And it looks like I'll get a good amount of diesel fuel. Okay. So what it told us to do is come up to PD as soon as possible, get the snorkel mast out, recharge the battery. Okay. ROE, not necessarily going to mess with that right now. There's the text we were talking about, but bottom line, here is our submarine. B-237, I have a feeling this is my arc. These are the baffles back here. It's hard to detect stuff back here. This seems to be my patrol area. So I think if I hit the Z and the X keys, yeah, that's it. Z, I can zoom, and right click, I can center. So I'm currently doing 3 knots at 787 feet depth. That's not nice. Pretty deep and going slow, so if I had a casualty right now, it'd be a pain in the butt to get up to the surface. But, of course, the slower you are, the less noise you make, so that's good. But at this point, my first task is to get up to periscope depth and recharge my batteries. So, you can use hotkeys for here. I'm just into right-clicking. Throttle altitude and depth, that term doesn't necessarily directly apply to a submarine, but it's kind of generic across surface ships and aircraft in the game. So I'll click on this, and I have a nice preset here, periscope depth. So I'm going to go there. I got choices on speed. If I hit stop, I'm not going to get up there very fast. Creep, how fast is that? That's 3 knots. That's not going to get me up there, so probably I'll hit cruise, so at least I can drive the boat up a little. Here's a problem too, as you come shallower, your propeller, the pressure of the water around the propeller decreases. So if you're going too fast, you can actually cause cavitation, which is bubbles forming on the propellers and generating lots of noise, and you're easily detected. So this is nice. I can put this in where it's make sure I don't cavitate, or just I keep an eye on my speed. And when I'm up at periscope depth, I don't like put in flank speed. It's a good way to make a lot of noise. So periscope depth, cruise speed to get me up there. I think that's good. Gonna hit OK. Might as well set my course. I want to get in the patrol area. Plot course. I'll just like boom right there. The escape key to clear that, and let's start the game. And as you can see, my depth is I'm coming up, going shallow. My speed's kind of speeding up, not as fast as it normally would if I wasn't also trying to drive the boat up to periscope depth. And I could sit here at 1 second and watch this forever, but let's just crank it up a little. Notice I don't even have to click it. I found if you, I just triggered something here. Well, we got to periscope depth pretty fast. And it says here the crew is going to know what to do as soon as we get up to PD, put up the snorkel, switch our submarine over to diesel electric. Of course, the snorkel, invented by the Germans in World War II, was a way for a submarine to run their diesel, get the air and exhaust the air, but not sit on the surface while doing it. Snorkel mast is like a big vacuum cleaner, sucks air in, and another part of it exhausts the diesel out. You can also use it in case you had a fire in your submarine. Submarine fills up with smoke, not a good thing. So you come up, put up the snorkel mast, and you ventilate the submarine. Use some fans on it and blow out the bad air, suck in some good air. Of course, hopefully the fire's out, because you don't want to introduce new oxygen, because fires love oxygen. So that's a two-edged sword. Here they're talking about the idea that I want to recharge the battery faster, or I shouldn't really go too fast. Basically, the diesel, if I go faster than creep speed, part of the diesel energy won't be used to recharge the battery, but it will instead be used to push my boat faster. But they're saying we need to get to the patrol area quicker, so we're going to just do a compromise there. So I'm going to hit close and resume. And we're still at 1 second. Yeah, we're at PD, 66 feet. And 5 knots. I don't think I'll cavitate there. And let's see what's going on with my battery. It's 494. 495. There you go. You see it's slowly recharging. So I could click here and then it would be at 5 seconds. I found this trick that I just put it over the speed I want and it does it. And then as soon as I pull the mouse away, it goes back to 1 second. So there we go. We do see my submarine approaching the patrol area. And I'd imagine as soon as we get in the patrol area, that's going to kick off another notification event. And we do see, if you look over at the battery, it's recharging nicely while we're also slowly consuming diesel fuel. And that seems we're in the patrol area. And there's our next event right on cue. Our batteries are still low. In general, don't let your battery get below 50%. Kind of like your car, try and keep a half tank in it at all times, especially during wartime. We can manage my battery during we can manage it Doctrine Settings. Maybe I can set this rule and my submarines automatically do this. I don't have to micromanage it. That's good. And then they talk about how to do that. I'm not going to do that right now. Other Doctrine Settings, that's all over here. You see that right over here. It's a good way to automate your device's command is, you can micromanage command. Every unit you can get down in the weeds and tell it what to do, but as the scenarios get bigger, that seems too much overhead and all. Also, by the way, command can put you in the planning mode where you just make missions, assign units to missions, and then see how your missions are carried out instead of micromanaging each unit. It's whatever you prefer. But let's see what it says we need to do. Once you've changed this, oh, we've got to reload. Seems our first target's going to be a surface ship, so we're going to swap out the torpedoes with a pair of Sizzler SSN, surface-to-surface missiles. And we'll show you how to do that. Once you've done that, plot a course within the patrol zone, set depth PD, and go to creep again. So since we're in the zone, we're going to creep. But let's see if I remember how I can do this. Weapons, and look in here. Where are our Sizzlers? Yep, here's a Sizzler. So let's see if I click here. And here, that should tell my torpedo end to take these torpedoes out of the tubes and instead reload a pair of Sizzlers. Nice name. Alright, let's see. Is the game running? Yeah, it is. Something's going to happen, so I'm going to go ahead and speed it up a little. 5 seconds. Nope, nothing's running. Because I got to hit this. There we go. Let's see what happens here. Actually, I'm going to put it back down to 1 second and see what's going on with my tubes. Oh, here we go. Yep, there we go. My torpedo men are hard at work. About a minute and a half before we get them in the tubes. Good deal. So let's pick up the speed, help them out a little. Oh, something's happened. And actually you can see what happened here. We have a bear. Now we have a firm ID in position. Oh, really? We have a target already? Okay. So there's one missing. This is all talking about once you plot a course, press escape. So it's telling we can actually, these Sizzler missiles, we can't even plot their course. So why would you do that? Instead of taking a straight shot, come in at 30 feet. Well, maybe you want to coordinate your attack or come in from 2 different directions at the same time with your weapon against your target. You never know. So you got some flexibility there. Let's go ahead and close and resume. And let's come up here a little. Oh, yeah. Now, the point is we didn't detect this. Okay, it's pretty much probably out of our sonar range, or we don't have a surface search radar going, etc. So what is happening, because we're at PD, is the bear here has detected this, and it's sending us the target data via some sort of data link, I call it. This is nice. Let's look at this bear. Kind of like our B-52. It's been around a while. Turboprop. Still flying close to Alaska. You see all sorts of weapons, etc. We can use it, but this right now is maritime reconnaissance role. It's finding targets for us. So we'll let that thing fly a little more, see its altitude. There's our target. Let's see what we got on this guy. He is a commercial container vessel. And notice here we're finding out how are we detecting it. And this is telling us it's not one of our detection suites, but it's this mushroom radar and multiple other methods of detection coming from the bear. And she's going 20 knots, 90 degrees. So let's go ahead and click on us now. And we're PD. Let's see if we can attack this guy. With our Sizzlers, we're PD. I believe our Sizzlers are loaded now. Yep, a pair of Sizzlers ready to go. So, the way we attack something, once again, if you want to memorize the hotkeys, you can. Now, I could do an automatic attack, and basically after I clicked on that, I'd click on my target, and the program would automatically pick any weapon that can hit it, and then go ahead and plot the course out and automatically attack it. If you want finer control, I can go to Manual, and then I click on my target, and a new screen pops up, and right now, I can't engage it for 18 seconds. I'm still in the OODA loop. Interesting. Yeah, so my Sizzlers. So 2 of them are still in the, now this tells me a lot of some interesting stuff about my Sizzlers. I got 2 in the tube. I gotta wait another 18 seconds until my team processes the bear data and comes up with a firing solution, etc. They can feed into the weapon. Then I can launch. Notice my other torpedo tubes that have standard torpedoes in it. That's not in the magazine. I'll have to look at that. It's pretty much out of range too. So let's wait 18 seconds, close that puppy. Let's see if that's true. Crank it 15, 2 minutes, and there we go. The bear's getting pretty close there. Now let's try again. Attack options, manual. Notice I could have done Shift F1, click. Oh, looky there, nice color green. So notice here I can pick this weapon. I can come down here. I don't know why my windows are so big. Okay. So here's my target listed over here. Here are the weapons that are available. And I can choose, allocate 1 salvo, allocate all weapons, or actually pick the number. Just for the heck of it, I'll just do both of them. And there we go. I forgot, that's right. Yeah, pick 2, and then I click here. And there you go. There are my 2 Sizzlers. Done. Now look at this here, because these missiles can be set a course in them. I can actually plot a course. So when I click here, notice it says computer is just going to assume straight shot. Here we go. But I can actually, let's see if I know how to take the course and tell it to come over here, or tell it to come over here, or do all sorts of stuff. Obviously, I'm not making any good sense here. That's a pretty wild. Let's see, 3 legs. Wow. I think I need a clear course there, because that looked pretty crazy. I guess I got to get better at that. But the bottom line is the weapons are allocated, the target's allocated. We click here. Now the tube pops the surface and starts flying at 530 knots at 30 feet above sea level, in this case, towards the target. Let's speed this puppy up. Whoa. Let's go to 5 seconds. And here we go. We didn't waste more weapons. Let's see what we got here. Target. Yep. Shoot it out of the water. I'm going to click close here so it doesn't automatically restart. I can take this back down to 1 second for now. And let's look at my weapons here. Battery's coming up. And what has it done? It's reloaded the last 2 Sizzlers. That's fine. I may decide to swap those out again if that was my only surface target. So there we go. I'll start it a little more to clear that. Yep, it's gone. All right, that's a good sign. So at this point, I'm going to stop the game, stop the recording, see what I got.